the Wildrose Party annual general meeting this weekend in Red Deer, and I caught up with a few Wildrose MLAs and asked them about what's on their agendas for the fall session of the legislature and about some of the motions brought forward by the Wildrose Party membership at this AGM. Now, the first Wildrose MLA I ran into is Jason Nixon. Now, he's the Wildrose MLA for Rimbey, Rocky Mountain House Sundre. He's also the Shadow Minister of Democracy and Accountability, and he thinks the NDP are trying to make elections in Alberta a little less democratic just in time for the next provincial election. Here.
But the NDP kept bringing forward motions that were essentially attempting to rig our election system to benefit themselves in 2019. Not just against the Wildrose opposition, but against every opposition party, which was scary. But the other really big scary thing they kept doing in there, and we're expecting them to bring legislation forward eventually, was they wanted to bring in laws that pay for their campaign expenses, pay for all politicians' campaign expenses, something that our membership voted against today, and that we will continue to fight, if they bring that forward. We expect they're going to bring that forward this fall, this spring. And so we don't think taxpayers should be paying for politicians' expenses, and we intend to fight that.
Leela here is the Wildrose MLA for Chestermere Rocky View, and she's the Shadow Minister of Energy. She has equalization on her radar. The findings from the Wildrose Equalization Panel are in, and she thinks the current equalization formula just isn't working for Alberta or Canada. Listen.
The issue that we're having is that a lot of those resource monies are actually going into paying for services, when ideally that those monies that are going into equalization should be going into like savings, like a heritage fund, or going towards those kinds of things. So the intention was initially to help provinces to be able to get out of debt, right? Ideally, that's what you'd like to see happen. But unfortunately, what we see happening is that it's being used for services. So originally with equalization, it was supposed to equalize services between provinces. But as we all know, there's provinces that have lower tuitions and low daycare. We certainly do not benefit from that in this province. We're wanting to make sure that you encourage resource development in other provinces so that independence is possible. That at the end of the day, that prosperity for that province, why wouldn't you want that? So if that encourages the ability to do that, to be less dependent, I think all of us can agree that that would be a very, very good way for so many provinces to go.
And Shadow Minister of Finance, Wildrose MLA for Strathmore Brooks, Derek Fildebrand, was excited about some motions that passed at the AGM. Just listen.
My members in Strathmore Brooks put forward a lot of very solid fiscal conservative policies that passed almost unanimously. We voted, not surprisingly, that we will completely axe the carbon tax if we win in 2019, that we'll scrap Bill 6 and bring in more appropriate farm safety legislation in its place. And one that was really near and dear to my heart, and that is to restore the Alberta Advantage by bringing back the flat tax, the single rate income tax. That really was such a key foundation of the Alberta Advantage, and Wildrose members voted almost unanimously to do that today. My heart was glowing at it.
Now, the last Wildrose AGM was like a post-mortem of the election loss to the NDP. But this AGM was different. It was bigger, more hopeful, and actually unity-minded. And it looks like these MLAs are ready to fight. It's no wonder. The NDP have the entire fall sitting of the legislature set for a measly total of 16 days. They don't want to face questions from this highly motivated opposition. For the Rebel.media, I'm Sheila Gunreid. The fall sitting of the legislature is set for only 16 days, but I'll be watching the NDP the whole time. Click the link below to subscribe to The Rebel so you won't miss a single thing.